everyone, if you will, remain muted. If you've got a question, please put it in the chat box. We will do our best to try to go through those, whatever we can answer, and we'll try to let you know what we know at this point. So again, my name's CJ Gavin. We've got Riley Rubanes, Nick Madej, and Jerome Watson joining us tonight. We're going to go through some of the things that we talked about last time, some of the new things that we think we know. As we've said before, everything is very fluid at this point related to camp. We are going to do our best to try to give you information as we've got it. We are as frustrated about this situation as anybody else is. We would love to say it's going to be just like it was pre-pandemic. But the honest truth is that's not going to be the case. So we will just have to deal with things as they come along and try to keep you informed. So if I can get to the right screen. This is our information about our camp director, our program director, and we have recently hired an Aquila program director, which is Jerome Watson. He's been at camp for a number of years. If you'd like to get a hold of any of them, there is their email. They will do the best they can with answering questions also. If you just want to send it to the council office, to me, it's carl.gavin@scouting.org. And again, we'll do the best we can to help you out with whatever information we know. So I'm going to flip to the first slide here, maybe, and let Nick talk for just a second.
Hello, everyone. So if you guys didn't join us for the last meeting we had last month, then you wouldn't know that our theme for this year is going to be Pirates of the Seven Ranges, based off of the Disney series Pirates of the Caribbean. And the entire goal of this summer and the program is to be using teamwork and being trustworthy with everyone around you to achieve your goals. And I wanted to think of a theme and a goal for the week that scouts could really apply to what's been happening and going on throughout the past year. If you look on the slide at the bottom left corner, that is it's a rough draft of what the t-shirt design is going to be. If you guys would like a t-shirt design for your troop, soon we will have the SG trading post online, and you'll be able to order shirts and other memorabilia / wearables that you would like off of the SG trading post. And that link is found on the Buckeye Council website.
All right, hi guys, Riley here. I hope you guys are doing well tonight. Just a little quick update and some things regarding COVID. If you guys weren't in our meeting last week, this might be new to you or not, I don't really know. Okay, so units will need to take responsibility. So we and the rest of my staff, we really don't want to like watch over you guys that too much. We don't want to hover over. So we're kind of expecting you guys as leaders to take a little bit responsibility with the scouts and ensure that social distancing guidelines and masking policies are being kept up and they're being followed 24/7. We're not really sure what program is going to look like and what we're going to be able to do just yet. As CJ said, it's very like fluid right now. So just be flexible, be prepared to do things within your campsites and all of that. So basically, you know, COVID's been around for almost like basically a year now, right? And so with that being said, I just want to remind everybody that like we do individually all need to take responsibility. And we're just kind of relying on all of you guys to make sure people are wearing their masks. There's only a certain amount of staff, and there's only one of me, and there's only one of CJ. So we can't always enforce the rules all the time. So we're kind of relying on you guys. And we really don't want the camp to get shut down. I don't really want to get the camp shut down. I really want Scouts to have a good summer, and I hope that you guys do too. So it's just simple, like wear a mask, follow guidelines, all that good stuff. So as far as just the general plans go, things will change, of course. So be flexible, please. It's going to be frustrating. Me, CJ, Jerome, Nick, we're all frustrated already. So regarding food, the dining hall plans are kind of still in motion right now. We're trying to figure out a way to do the dining hall. If we can't, then we can't. If we can, it's going to be very different. And so, yeah, that'll be a little different. Group events, as you guys know, Good Turn weekends are coming up. There will be more group events, and during those group events, we're going to strictly enforce social distancing, masking, all that good stuff. And obviously, masks are going to be enforced. You gotta wear them all the time if you're around people. Like, nothing more, nothing less. Like, that's it. As far as numbers go, right now, it's still 10 people, so we're going to keep going with that unless that changes, and that includes merit badge class sizes. We are working on coming up with a schedule right now to make sure that the 10-person limit is being followed, and we're rearranging the schedule, trying to come up with options, and we will update you guys more in the future as we come up with better solidified plans. All right, so CJ, do you want to cover the health checks real quick?
Sure. We're going to be following the same program that is subscribed by National, what they've told us to do, which is a 10-day health check prior to any kind of long-term summer camp. And we'll have more information coming out about that. Behavior-based quarantine 10 days prior to camp, basically saying don't go out of state, don't go to any large group events, and hope everyone follows that so that we can be safe at camp. We are not allowing carpooling still. Please don't stop as a group at McDonald's in Minerva. Don't stop at the Hardee's in Minerva on the way to or the way back from camp. The number of health concerns that we had in 2020 in camps across the country, for that matter, were down because of following these plans. There was much less flu in camp, Norwalk disease, anything else that might affect a large group of people being together was down in 2020 because there were less people and because people followed the program. So if you can stay with that, we would appreciate it, and that'll make a huge difference. We talked a little bit last time about NCAP and insurance, and that's really where our concerns come from, to follow the rules. If we don't follow the rules and we are not certified as a NCAP camp, we can't run the program. And if we don't get certified, we don't get covered in liability insurance or accident insurance. And those things are important to all of us. We talked about the driving situation with the golf carts. We think we've got the form that we're going to be allowed to use once it's cleared through our lawyers. Basically, you'll sign it and say that you've gone through the manufacturer provided training for a golf cart, and you as an adult will be able to use that if you follow the rules of that manufacturer, the rules of camp. We will not be providing golf carts at camp. We talked quickly about ATVs and UTVs. Those are a whole different ball game. If you've got one of those, the chances of you using that at camp this summer are pretty close, slim to none. the training that's required for that. We're having a very difficult time even getting our camp ranger, Steve, qualified on that. So we will not be counting on using those this summer. Guests and family night is not going to happen at this point. Wednesday call out ceremonies will just be within the camp. Thursday family night will not be happening. We can't have people coming in and out with those numbers to and still remain within our cohorts and our safety guidelines. Related to testing, there probably is going to be no reason to have that at camp. By the time we would give you a test and say you are COVID positive or COVID negative, camp would be over anyway. If someone is sick, if someone in your group, your cohort, your troop, whatever the number might be, if someone is sick at camp, that whole group is going to be affected by that, and probably everyone will have to go home. So we've got to be careful with the quarantines ahead of time and following all the procedures. The staff will probably be tested. They will probably be vaccinated. There is no requirement currently by the state related to saying if participants have to be vaccinated or tested prior to camp. The CDC is telling us it probably will not be available to a large enough percentage of youth who are coming to camp to make it worthwhile. So let me repeat that. After the last meeting, people were saying that you were going to be forced to be vaccinated. I don't think there's any chance that there's going to be a requirement for that because there's not going to be enough available. This slide doesn't say anything different than what I said last time, but for whatever reason, it was out there that you were going to have to be vaccinated. It might be required by the state, but I don't think so because there's not going to be enough. Simple as that. The Good Turn Leader meeting. We'll have the meeting at 1 o'clock in the dining hall. Everyone who is coming to the Good Turn must be registered, youth and adults, with all of their information. It's the same as we're going to do for summer camp. I have to be able to provide to the county a tracking record so that if we find out that everyone from Troop 1, one of their guys calls us and says they've got COVID, as we follow up with them, we have to let everyone else in Troop 1 know that, and that's the county's responsibility to do that. You must be registered to come to the Good Turn weekend, and you must provide us the information required. If you do not, you will be standing at the admin providing us that information until we are satisfied that we've got it all, and you will be holding up the entire line of people coming in to this event, and the same thing will happen at summer camp. You must complete the COVID pre-camp screening. It's a simple piece of paper that before anyone gets in the car, you ask them if they have any of the symptoms of COVID. The groups are going to be in groups of 10, masked. Lunch will be provided at your work site. We will be doing staff interviews after lunch in the admin. If you've got people who are interested in that, they need to talk with Riley to work that out. But again, the leaders meeting is going to be upstairs in the dining hall at 1 o'clock. We'll be spread out and socially distanced. There's more info that's going to come in the letter from Mike Devine. He's waiting for me to double check a couple of things and get that back to him, and then he will have it out to you. All right, Jerome, there you go.
Hey guys, we are still looking for certain staffing, as in the business manager and co-directors and stuff on this list. If you know of anyone who wants to join staff or had any interest in joining staff, talk them into it, and you can find the staff applications on the Buckeye Council website. Yeah, that's about it for me.
I want to mention a couple of things on the registration and how we're doing it. We made changes this year we moved the early bird date, and we changed the amount of money that you receive for the early bird registration. Next year, for 2022, we will probably also make some changes, and we're really looking at the possibility of saying the fee up to X date, might be March 1st, I don't know. The fee to March 1st is this. The fee April 1st is this. The fee May 1st is this. Rather than having an early bird breakdown, just say if you pay your fee by this date, it will be reduced. Keep an eye out for that as we go through this year, and we'll try to let you know this summer exactly how we're going to do it and how that'll be set up. I also want to remind you, related to campsites and the fees for a campsite, you can spend that money to register a youth this year. Saturday at the end of your week of camp, we will make that campsite available for a person who might want it for next year. So, for example, if you're in Buzzard's Beak and you're there week 4, up until Saturday of week 4, you're the only one who can take Buzzard's Beak in 2022. If you don't put down the money to hold that campsite for 2022, it becomes available that Saturday. And because of the way the dates slide and move back and forth, depending on when we think we can start, when school ends, when colleges begin, and when the dates move, a number of people have moved this year because the 4th of July and Christmas dates moved which week they were in. So a number of people will be moving back again next year, depending on where those dates end up. So be aware of that and be prepared when you leave camp to put down your money for the following year. All right, camperships, the form's available. It's for the Buckeye Council units only. They are due by March 1st, so you're running out of time for that. We will continue to take camperships as long as you want to send them in. Once we're out of money in the budget to support that, it will be much more difficult for us to give that money out. So be aware of that. The quicker you get them in, the better off you are. Want to mention that female participants must have female leadership. If dad's going to camp with his daughter, that doesn't cut it. You have to have a female leader with that group. That is a national rule, and we cannot make an exception to that. Physicals must be done within the year. There's no extension this year, so you have to have a new physical if you haven't had one within the year. All right, Riley, do you have anything else?
No, but we have a couple questions in the comments. All right, we'll start with, can a group of 10 just be scouts? Meaning the 10-person.
That's a trick question. Let's see if I can do the math. That was never my strong suit. But here's how that could work. If you come to camp and you've got 20 people in camp, 2 adult leaders and 18 youth, you could have a group of 10 cohort that's possibly going to go out and do merit badges with a group of 8 going out to do merit badges. You've got to have 2 adult leaders in that campsite, and then we're going to figure out how to do the merit badges with the youth after that. If you say to me, can a group of 10 scouts go to camp? The answer is no. A group of 8 scouts and 2 adults can go to camp, or a group of 14 scouts and 2 adults can go to camp. I hope that answered the question. You've got to have 2 adults in your troop to go to camp.
All right. Next we have, will partial week adults come and go? Like the come and go adults, will that be permitted?
We still have the registration available to allow that to happen. We would At this point, we don't have any reason to believe that we're going to be told they can't. But we would rather everyone plan to either be there for the week. If they're going to be Sunday to Wednesday, that's fine. If they're going to be Wednesday to Saturday, that's fine. They'll have to do all of the check-in stuff that's necessary. We're really trying hard not to have people come and go. That'll be a problem for us. So whatever time period you're going to be there for, you need to be there for. That's the best I can tell you at this point, unless we hear something different.
All right. What is the drop dead date if camp has to be canceled?
From our side, I don't know why I'm putting all these marks on the screen. I don't know how I'm doing that. I apologize. I have a feeling it might have something to do with my cat deciding to put some marks on here. But we don't necessarily have a drop dead date. We're going to move forward as best we can. We don't think we're going to hear, unless something changes drastically with the COVID, that we can't run camp. We may come to a point where we say, hey, the rule is X, and if your troop says we can't live with that rule, we're going to have to deal with you individually at that point. Right now, we are trying every different version of how we're going to provide program that we can think of. Nick, like I said, is going crazy. We're all trying to figure this out, how we're going to provide the program in the safest possible way to the maximum number of people that we can. We don't expect that we're going to say camp is not going to happen this summer. We will have different rules and things changing as we go along. It isn't going to feel like camp has always felt. We're going to miss the dining hall potentially. We're going to miss the way we've done campfires in the past. Not having parents there on Thursday night is really going to be different for all of us. What I may end up having to do with the staff could be really oppressive for them if we get to a point where we say no one gets to leave for 7 weeks. To control the flow of a large group of people in and out. We just don't know everything that's coming. But as of today, and with all of our conversations, and we've done about half of them now with councils throughout the country, we think we're going to be able to run program. Anything else that I might be able to answer, Riley? Don't give me any questions.
We're getting some questions about camp honors and if that's happening.
We are working with the Camp Honors program. We have every belief that it is going to happen in one form or another. We're definitely having some difficulties figuring out how to keep the social distance, as you can imagine. We're having difficulties thinking about the area where it may end up being done. We're having difficulties thinking about how we're going to put the groups together on Friday night and do all the social distancing that's required and everything else that goes along with it. But at this point, the Pipestone program will happen. The Pipestone Council of Chiefs is working on it, and we're talking about it all the time.
And then we're getting questions about a campsite. How many in a camp? How many people allowed in a campsite?
Yeah.
There's like
we are going to do the very best we can to put whatever size troop you have into the campsite that you have requested. Only one time in the last 10 years have I had to tell a unit you can't have a campsite because we've got a troop that needs to be in there. It wasn't a happy circumstance for anybody, everyone's going to have to be a little bit more flexible this year as we go along with it. If I end up with a troop of 60 in Buzzard's Beak, they can't be there because we can't divide Buzzard's Beak into 6 different groups of 10. If I end up with a group of 4 in Hutch's Grove, they're not going to be there because I can't waste all of that space, so to speak. So everyone just be flexible. And again, help us out with this. We will attempt to put you in the campsite that you've requested, because I know maybe you've got a tradition there, or you've built the pavilion, or whatever the circumstances might be, but it may not work out that way. We will have to divide the campsites, and we're still working on how to do this. Just for fun, what keeps going through my mind is I'm getting ready to take a trip this summer to follow Sherman's March to the Sea. And I might go down to Andersonville. So we're going to make lines in the camp like the dead man lines in the Confederate prisons. And if you go across the, no, that'd be a little harsh, but we're going to have to figure out how to divide those up and say this cohort is here and this cohort is here. And again, you're going to have to help us keep those groups separate so all of that works. Hutch's Grove, going back to that example, we could probably, with the camp, the land next to it, we could probably put 6 or 7 groups in there. So we've got to think about how we're going to do it and do the best we can to serve everyone who's going to be part of this.
As far as tents within the campsites, are we doing 2 per tent, or are we doing personal tents, or is it
going? The amount of tents isn't going to change in the campsites. We've been told we can do 2. We'll have to make sure everyone understands to sleep head to foot, that we're following the youth protection guidelines, and that if you need more tents, that you will need to bring them. Moving tents around is just a terrible way to destroy a $500 tent, and it doesn't do us that much good. So you will be asked to bring tents if you are beyond the size of the amount of tents that are in the campsite. Hopefully that won't be too much of a problem.
Another question in the comments is, do troops need to plan on meals in camp until we determine if the dining hall can be used?
I am 99.9% sure that we will be eating food in the campsites. It will not be a situation where you have to cook them. They'll be, as of right now, we will have them prepared and brought to you, just like we've done at Camp Aquila for ever. So the kitchen is used to that. It'll just be a different way of handling it, and we will be bringing the food out to you at this point. That's the direction we're looking at going.
We have several older leaders that would use a golf cart, but can a car be used instead? I'm just gonna say no. I'm guessing that's the correct answer, CJ.
Yeah, we are
Cars.
really trying to crack down on the amount of vehicles in camp, and that's part of it.
The question about the phone interviews I'm guessing that's for staff. We are doing virtual interviews. Just, like send their application in online, or they can email it to me if you guys have my email. But we're doing Zoom ones as well.
Yeah, we'll interview you any way that works best for you. Just get them to us. Get the applications to us, and we will talk to you.
If our troop decides not to attend camp this year, is the camp deposit that was rolled over from last year refundable, or rolled forward again to next year?
That's up to you by Saturday of the week that you're in camp. if you don't roll it forward, we'll give it back to you, but we hope that you would roll it forward. I can't think of any other way to do that. I realize people go, well, if they didn't come to camp this year, shouldn't someone else be able to grab their campsite? That's just the way we decided to do it. I should have gone the other way. I didn't make you come to camp, but camp will be great. Everyone should come.
When will the registration for Aquila open?
Good question. We're still trying to figure out exactly how we're going to do this. At this point, the direction that we're heading because of COVID and unit program, et cetera, is to give a chance that more people can be involved with what we're doing over at Camp Aquila. The direction that we're headed is Sunday to Wednesday as a Cub Scout resident camp, Friday to Sunday, each week during the summer that it's available as a family camping weekend. So if families can't work out that Monday through Wednesday thing, or a unit can't work out Monday through Wednesday, they could come on a weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and do the same kind of program things that they would do at Cub Resident Camp. That's going to be a different style for our staff over there and Jerome and the guys, but we hope that will be a way that we can serve more people through the summer through our Cub program. I didn't answer the question. I'm hoping that by the end of March we have that all set up and the book put out and the registration ready to go. And we want to do this same kind of meeting for our Cub leaders as we go through the rest of the year also.
Going back to the vehicle question, are we still allowing bicycles?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Could we get a reduced price if we bring our own food?
Let me check on that. That's a really good question. Let me see what the county thinks about that. I will have an answer for you by the next time we do this.
Are scouts selecting merit badge classes individually or via groups?
As of all of our conversations today, and this is, again, watch Nick's head explode. I think what we're going to have to do is take a general survey from you, and we'll let you know way ahead of time what we're looking for, and say, let us know your number one choice for the largest group of guys who are coming to camp or gals, your second choice, your third choice, your fourth choice, and then figure out the schedule from that. The reason we can't do individuals picking a merit badge is because if all of your, one of your guys picks swimming, one of your guys picks rifle, one of your guys picks basketry, one of your guys picks a STEM merit badge, three of those are in a category where we know we would have a potential of spreading COVID. There's no question about it. And there's no way that the county is going to say anyone from anywhere in the country that happens to be at your camp can go and take canoeing together. They're just not going to let us do that. So we're going to have to figure out the best schedule that we can for everyone and keep you together as a group and hopefully have a majority of the badges that your group would like to take. That's the direction that we're looking at this point.
When are we opening the merit badge signups, and then when will the schedule be officially published?
Yeah, neither of those things are going to happen.
Are we still offering SPL to B?
Good question. Let me think about that one more.
the question about Frog. We are planning on doing something for Frog right now. It might look a little different. Okay, they're asking to explain the merit badge signups again, CJ.
What we will do is ask.
Sorry, go ahead.
We're going to take a survey for each week of camp, ask you what the largest number of people in your unit are interested in taking, and try to figure out a schedule from that to keep the cohorts together in groups of 10.
Can the youth attend the camp by themselves and attend with another troop as in the past?
At the beginning of the year, I think we had a huge plan to do as many provisional youth as possible to try to add to it. The current guidelines are probably pushing against that.
OA callouts, Vespers, or Thunderbird Hill. We're still working out a plan for like group events. So as CJ said before about OA callouts, it'll just be who like everyone who's in the camp, no visitors, that sort of thing. As far as Vespers and Thunderbird Hill, I don't know if we can fit that many people on Thunderbird Hill without breaking some guidelines. So we are coming up with a plan for that as well. We may or may not do it. It will just depend.
Nick's thinking about that and trying to figure out how we're going to make that happen.
Nick has to think about a lot. Do we need physicals for Good Turn weekend?
No, it's a one-day event. It's up to the units. If they're spending time down there that they follow their rules, you don't need the physicals for that.
Some people are still asking about personal golf carts. They just have to go through the training in order to have a personal golf cart in camp, correct?
Yes, each manufacturer has its own training, and then we're going to ask you, if you tell us that you're going to have a golf cart there, you're going to have to sign a waiver that says you've gone through that manufacturer's training and that you will follow the rules that we set down in camp, and that the liability for it is on you. And that's why we're still waiting to hear back from our lawyer about what exactly form that instruction is going to take.
I think that's pretty much covered. Please clarify if all 8 to 10 scouts will need to take the same merit badge classes.
They will need to travel together in the cohort group. We're not sure how we're going to break out the merit badges if they are all at rifle and shotgun. We're hoping that we can do rifle, shotgun, archery, whatever. We won't know that till we see who signs up for what. We will do the best we can to try to make it a program that's interesting for everyone. And just like we've been saying to the state, we've been saying to the ACA, we're a different organization. The American Camping Association, when you go to the Catskills for camp for 8 weeks, you get off a bus and you're pointed to a cabin, and there's a staff person who's going to be there with you for those 8 weeks, and 9 other people that you're going to become friends with for the rest of your life. And you're all the same age group, and you all go from station to station to do things. Boy Scouts don't work that way, because we're 10 and a half year olds to 18-year-olds in one group, and everyone has different interests. And that's why this thing is so hard and why we keep blowing up Nick's mind trying to figure out how we're going to do it. But right now in the state of Ohio, that's how every camp, that's the direction all the camps are taking. If we go to Oregon, it was interesting. I talked with some friends out in Portland, and you could go out there to Camp Meriwether, which is just beautiful on the Pacific coast, except they had no camp last year, nothing, and they have no idea what the rules are going to be for this year. At least we think we know, based on last year's, a little bit of direction that we're headed. I feel sorry for those guys.
There's still more questions about merit badges. The merit badge list that we have right now is in the guidebook. Again, that is a draft, but that's probably what we're going to be going with. What else was there?
To the best of our ability, and again, it goes back to when we ask you to fill out that survey, please do so as quickly as possible. And we need staff people. If we open this weekend, there's things that we just couldn't offer because we don't have enough staff to do it.
Oh, there's a question about when the survey is going to be available to take.
As soon as we can get it out to you.
All right. There's a lot of people talking in the chat about what the merit badge program is going to look like. I just want to say something real quick. So I know there's some people in the chat saying people have been in school and doing sports, and it's been a mixed group. We are working on it. We do want to be able to make it normal. Unfortunately, COVID still exists. It's going to still continue to exist for a while. I'm in college and I wish I had a true college experience right now. I can't go to class every day. Unfortunately, summer camp is going to be the same thing. It's going to be different. Like I said at the beginning, just please be flexible and all that stuff. I know that it sounds like a lot of people in the chat right now are a little upset, and I just want to reassure you, just please be flexible.
And if you have some influence with the state and the CDC, we'd be glad to change to whatever they would allow us to do. And right now, this is what they allow us to do. If you'd like to read the rules and come up with some other plan, I'd be glad to share them with you.
How will age and rank requirement for merit badges apply?
Yep, we're going to have to figure that out.
Are we consulting with camps that were open last year?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, again, will the kids miss out on dining hall experience if meals are delivered? Yes. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. We're trying to follow the guidelines best we can. Like I said, we don't want to get camp shut down because that wouldn't be good for anyone. Nobody would have a good summer then. So we are doing everything to the best of our ability. Are we doing shower trailers? Or are we using regular showers, or both?
We don't have an answer for that right now.
Will refund policy change given this information was not available before early bird deadline?
No, the refund policy will not change under any circumstance. The refund policy is if you can't come to camp because you don't want to follow these rules or you can't follow these rules, you'll be refunded. We've said that over and over and over again. So no, I don't need to change the policy. The policy is if this isn't going to work for you, we're going to refund you. So So please don't worry about that.
Yeah, okay. I'm not seeing too many other questions.
Okay.
Just conversation happening in the chat.
We appreciate you guys trying to work with us on this. I realize, again, we're all very frustrated about it. We're frustrated with the whole COVID situation, and we're trying to do the best that we can with it. We're going to keep doing these until we get to camp. So our next one will be in March at our leaders meeting at the Good Turn weekend. We'll be going through the normal stuff that we go through and trying to answer the questions the best we can. And then we will add that to our next webinar that we do. And again, that meeting is at 1 o'clock on Saturday of Good Turn weekend. Jesse, did you want to talk?
Yeah, just really quick, just a quick note to everyone. Like CJ explained, we're still in the planning process of a lot of the phases of setting up camp. We're going through talking with our insurance carriers, of course, our legal team, our program teams, and a lot of guys who have helped us along the way in the past. So as he stated before, if you would just be patient, be as patient as you can be. I know there is some frustration on the phone. I've looked at a lot of the commentary in the chat. Things are going to evolve over time and change over time, and we're going to try to evolve with those things. I mean, we might get to June and they say we're completely open. You know, we might get to June and they say we're halfway open or we're a quarter open. And so we're going out, we're running simulations, we're measuring all the campsites, we're trying to figure out how to make sure we provide you with the closest thing to 2019 that we can. And so if you run into some issues, and I saw a message about, selling it to your families and your scouts. If you need some insight on how to do that, let us know and we can give you some talking points and share some resources and information with you on that. Not an issue. But we will continue, like I said, we continue to meet with councils. We continue to meet with the teams that we need to meet with as far as risk management. We're doing our best to make sure we keep everybody safe and that we follow the guidelines. And that's going to be key. It only takes one person to get sick and say they got sick at 7 ranges. Number one. Number two, and I'll let everybody know this. Last week, I think it was last Friday, I get a note. So I reached out to, as we were going through the process with COVID-19, I reached out to our top 5 county health departments in our top 5 counties and shared our guidelines with them that we've written based off the guidelines that they've shared with us. And I've tried to continue to build relationships with them and also individuals at the state. Last week, I received a message from somebody at the health department saying they were receiving calls from our scout parents about people not following the rules. So we have to do everything we can to keep everybody safe, one, and to make sure we're following the guidelines to the best of our ability. We understand how important camp is. Our job is not to, if you know this about any of us, and I would say especially CJ, he's been in program for a while. Nobody wants to cancel camp. Nobody wants to take away the traditions. Nobody wants to put you in a position where you have to over-explain what camp is going to look like this year. We've met with the with groups from the groups like the American Camping Association and people at the national office, and they have given us recommendations and suggestions, and we are doing our best to put a plan in place around that. So I would just ask for, and I know this might be asking a lot of the group, I would just ask for patience and as much grace as you can give us. If you run into a problem, shoot us a note and we can have a conversation. CJ would definitely be your point person on that. if you have questions that or concerns, make sure you send those our way. And like I said before, I would think most of the guys on the line are from Buckeye Council or from other councils who have participated at 7 ranges. And we want to continue the legacy and continue the traditions that we've had over the past. So we're going to do everything we can do to maintain that and keep that in play. But it's going to be tougher than it's been in years where we weren't in the midst of a pandemic. So thank you for being a part of the call. Thank you for asking the tough questions. We want you to continue to ask those, and keep us on our game and making sure that we're doing what we need to do to deliver the promise back to you and scouting.